week 12 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few kickers I look to drop this week. The first guy, Greg Zuerlein of the New York Jets. So right here, Greg Zuerlein, he was a hot pickup for the last few weeks here. But this Jet offense is so inconsistent. I know it was a tough matchup versus the New England Patriots. But right here, another tough matchup in week 12 in terms of kickers, where the Chicago Bears give up the fourth least amount of fantasy points to kickers on the season. So right here, Zuerlein had a good few games. Week 7 at Denver, 12. Week 8 versus New England, 5. Week 9 versus Buffalo, 10. And then Week 11 versus at New England, 4. So right now, this Jet offense is horrible. They don't know who they're going to have at quarterback right now. Robert Saleh didn't say that Zach Wilson's definitely going to be the starter here in Week 12. But either way, it's not creating many opportunities for Zuerlein. With this team barely moving the football and doing much. The next kicker is Greg Joseph of the Minnesota Vikings. So Joseph last season, he was a great kicker. And this season, we've seen a couple good games out of him, but a lot of inconsistencies as well. So the last few games here for Joseph, Week 8 versus Arizona, 4. Week 9 at Washington, 8. And Week 10 at Buffalo, 9. And Week 11 versus Dallas, only 3 on a chip shot field goal from 27 yards. So right now, this Viking team we know is a good offense, but I don't know what happened to them in Week 11 versus Dallas. And Greg Joseph, like I've mentioned, he'll have some good games, and then some games he don't do much. It's just the inconsistency this season here, playing with this Viking offense here for Greg Joseph. Like I said, last season he was a solid kicker, no doubt about it. But this year, so many kickers better than him, in my opinion. And he's a kicker to drop this week. And the third and final kicker I look to drop this week's Jake Elliott of the Philadelphia Eagles. I know I mentioned him a lot on this list here, but still owned in 44% of fantasy leagues. And this Eagle team, it's pretty much they score a lot of touchdowns or chip shots here for Elliott. The last month of the season for him, Week 8 versus Pittsburgh, 5. Week 9 at Houston, 3. Week 10 versus Washington, 3. And Week 11 at Indy, 5. So I know he's on a high-powered offense over there in Philly, but it's just not getting the job done for fantasy owners. And I don't know why he's still owned in 44% of fantasy leagues where there's better options on the wire. So right now, Jake Elliott, we're already in Week 12 here. There's no reason he should be owned. And he's a kicker I would drop this week. So that's a few kickers I look to drop here for Week 12 of the fantasy football season.